The passage is about animal activism. It talks about animal activism in India is inseparable from a larger effective history of liberalism, a history that in turn is deeply entwined with the history and politics of empire. If we were to simply replace horse or animal in Rogers' recollections with the phrase the female child or the Indian woman, her memoir would read no differently than Catherine Meo's 1927 anti-India polemic. Mother India, a book that in its stark portrayal of everyday acts of astonishing violence against women and girls served as a powerful tool for empire, arguing for the need to stay fast in India to protect its most vulnerable from barbarity and neglect. And indeed, animal welfare in contemporary India, like pro-woman reform in colonial India, is largely driven by foreigners. The biggest animal shelters and NGOs, except for Maneka Gandhi's, are founded by foreigners who came to India on holiday or for work and found themselves, like Rogers, compelled by the sight of suffering to stay there or at least to try and transform the place from afar. So we are talking about animal activism as a kind of activism that is also a part of liberalism. It is also a part of how foreigners from other parts of the world have come to India and they have tried to help animals in India. The second paragraph, two British women helped catalyze the first High Court judgment in India that prohibited the killing of stray dogs. So you can figure out by now what the passage is all about. We're talking about foreigners coming here and helping animals. And then there is another Briton. Here we take the example of Ingrid Newkirk. A renegade means a person who goes against conventional beliefs, and a murder fantasy of carnivores and vivisectionists everywhere. Vivisectionists are people who perform surgery on animals. So we had talked about Ingrid Newkirk here, and in the last line of this para, we talk about critics of animal rights have every reason and socially, however, it makes for have every reason and many a chance to paint the movement as a product of foreign meddling and elite interests, and as ultimately working against the well-being of the nation. So, which of the following is true about the foreigners who are involved in animal activism in India? If we look, or if you have read the choices, if you read the choices, we will understand that option C is the correct answer. Their work is open to criticism on a social level, as it could be considered a part of elite interest. This is given in the last line, right? So, why are the other options wrong? Obviously, option C is correct because the last two lines of the passage make it abundantly clear. However, option A is wrong because the passage talks of animal activism in contemporary India and not colonial India. Option B is not correct because the passage does not talk of any foreigners moving the judiciary, but only of helping to obtain a prohibition of the killing of stray dogs. Option D is also wrong, incorrect, because even though the passage states that foreigners are primarily involved in animal activism, we cannot definitely infer that they are more sensitive towards the animals as compared to Indians. So your answer is going to be C for Charlie. Which of the following can be inferred from the passage about Newkirk? We were discussing about Ingrid Newkirk, and we need to find out from the passage what exactly it is that we can learn about Newkirk. Now, this is the place where Ingrid Newkirk is mentioned. So if you read these paragraph carefully, you'll come to the conclusion that option B makes perfect sense. Her journey of the Trail of Horror inspired a film based on the slaughter of cattle. Option B is the correct answer because the passage clearly states that Newkirk's journey is the basis of the film. And her journey is about the cattle that is taken all the way to West Bengal from Gujarat to be slaughtered. Option A is incorrect because even though the passage calls her a renegade, we cannot definitely conclude that it is regarding her eating habits. Option C is incorrect because the passage only suggests that her journey inspired her work inspired her to work for animals in India. We cannot definitely conclude from the passage that her journey was the reason for her starting PETA in India. Option D is not correct either, because the passage states that she is against vivisectionists. Animal testing is too broad a term to be used in this context. So your answer is going to be B for Bravo. Which of the following is true about the incident mentioned related to the prohibition of the killing of stray dogs? As given in the passage, your answer is C. If you look at the passage and you come back to this choice, it clearly stated that sterilization of dogs was not considered as an alternative for controlling the overpopulation of dogs by the Municipal Corporation of Goa. A is not correct because it is possible that the people living there were already insensitive to the plight of stray dogs. Option B is ruled out because even though the issue was related to Goa, we cannot definitely conclude either that the prohibition was only related to Goa or that the prohibition was announced by the High Court of Goa. Option D is also incorrect because the passage only suggests that they initiated certain actions which finally led to setting up of the organization. It is possible that they were not directly responsible for setting it up. Option C is the correct answer because at the time of the incident, the Municipal Corporation of Goa was still paying money for the culling of dogs, and hence we can definitely infer that they had not started considering the sterilization of dogs as an effective alternative. So C it is. Which of the following statements cannot be inferred from the passage? Now in this case, the key word here is cannot. That means we should choose a choice which cannot be inferred from the passage. Option A is the correct answer because even though we know that some people criticize animal rights on the basis of foreign meddling and elite interests, we cannot term them as communists. It's not given anywhere. So A is the correct answer here. Consider the other choices. The title of the book Mother India is a misnomer. We have no reason to think so, because it is inferred from the fact that even though the title suggests a sacred position for women, it actually portrays the pitiful plight of Indian women. Option C is inferred from the last line of the passage as critics believe in it. Option D can be inferred from the fact that the two Indian states where cow slaughter is not prohibited are Communist Party strongholds. Your answer is A for apple.